Hello, everyone. Welcome back once again. I am Nicodemus Kane, and today is that day. Today is September 23rd, 2022. It is a 9:23. For all those numerology kids back in the day, it is a 666. It is a 966. What does that mean? Well, um, we don't know. There's been a lot of people that are saying a lot of things about how memorable tomorrow will be. What was the thing I read earlier? There are banks that are starting to close down tomorrow. They won't be open because tomorrow is some kind of gratitude day. Really? Gratitude day. What is gratitude day? Well, let's see. World Gratitude Day. But this says Wednesday, September the 21st. Okay, Gratitude Day is celebrated annually on the 21st of September. Celebration of Gratitude Day allows both individual citizens and organizations within wider society to celebrate the broad meaning of gratitude in a variety of ways. What the heck is this nonsense? Oh, a spiritual and meditation leader suggested there be a day of thanks the whole world could. Oh my god. I gotta sneeze, work it up. I got a sneeze working up, guys, so just be ready. Well, we didn't celebrate a World Gratitude Day on Wednesday. I don't know what you people are talking about. It was in 1965 at a Thanksgiving Day dinner in the meditation room of the United Nations building. That's all you need to know. It's a UN nonsense. Suggested there be a day of thanks the whole world could celebrate together, and it had to be right during the most evil, wicked, wicked part of the year possible. Yeah, no, I don't. How you celebrate the day is limited only by your imagination. For crying out loud. Okay, I'm gonna blow my nose and see if we can't get this cold or get this cold. I don't have a cold. I have the sniffles because it has been cold. I'll tell you what, man. It was I don't know what it is right now, but it was cold enough that we had the windows open yesterday. Or it was cool enough we had the windows open yesterday. I have a window open right now. I should probably shut it again. I'm just letting a little bit of air in because we don't have the air on because it's pretty nice in the house. I'm not gonna lie. Yesterday was really nice. You should have been outside. Give me 1 second so I can catch the sneeze before it comes. How you celebrate the day is limited only by your imagination. Some people write thank you notes to those they appreciate. Some make a point of having gratitude dinners with family members. It's a worldwide Thanksgiving on or around a solstice. Yeah, for crying out loud. Of course, World Gratitude Day is also a wonderful time to show gratitude to your colleagues and the people you work with through social recognition. Oh my. So, anyways, um, it was I think was it Richie from Boston that posted that? I think it was. I've lost it now. It's gone. It was there, but Twitter reset, so now it's gone. Um, but yeah, it was that Banks are starting to close tomorrow for Recognition Day, something I've never heard of before. Yeah, there it is. It was Richie from Boston. We wanted to let you know our local Associated Bank branches will be closed on Saturday, September 24th, as we celebrate Gratitude Day. Well, well, okay. Yeah, somebody said something about Thanksgiving being moved up, and that's probably what they're trying to do. They found a floating holiday that Americans, it's distinctly American. Thanksgiving is distinctly American. But they found a holiday in which they could probably move up right on top of a solstice, even though they already have Halloween anyways, but whatever. But they probably take it, and they're probably moving it up to right on top of the solstice, and that way they can you celebrate it. It's only limited by your imagination. Yay! I'm thinking about what the Bible says about the imaginings of evil men. That's all I can hear whenever I hear that. Is the imaginings of evil men and what they can do. What temperature is it right now? I'm wondering if I should close this because it's a bit nippy. It's 45. It's like for the past however long it is, it never dipped down past like 65. And then it's like yesterday, it was like, boom, weather change. Oh, but it felt so good though. Yesterday was so nice. Every time we went outside, it's like, why are we locked up in the house? Why? Talking about moving computers outside. But yeah, we had to break the blankets out, and that's like I said. This morning I got a bit of the sniffles, as you can hear, and it will not stop running. Hold on. Hopefully that got it. Hopefully. All right. Anyways, uh, but other than that, again, there are a lot of people. Who was the guy? He was saying, well, this September 24th will be a day to remember. And then, of course, we have had the 923 programming everywhere, and then some. And then everybody is. There's a lot of things that just keep happening around 923. Every year, it just seems like we're getting closer and closer to something happening, but they don't pull the trigger. I think it's one of those things where it's like the more it doesn't happen, the less that people will start thinking about it. So when something does happen, it'll be like, oh no, look, the whole world is falling apart and things are, we're all messed up now. Oh no. But always keep it in mind because it's constantly there. It is constantly it's constantly a number you see over and over and over again. And there are people out there that say that numbers mean nothing. Oh, numbers mean nothing. It doesn't mean anything. You're just a crazy kook. I was watching something else the other day. I can't remember what it was. Somebody was, I think it was a Letterman thing. It's so nice to put Letterman on the YouTube. David Letterman, old like 1980s David Letterman, and just let him play while you work. So it's just like background noise. Somebody on Letterman though was talking about how the things he used to do whenever he was young, he was kind of crazy and wild. And he said, "Yeah, back when I was a teenager, I used to do this, used to do that. I used to, Used to study numerology, so that tells you how crazy I was. Son of a. It's not crazy. It's not mental. There's something to it. Just because you think that the numbers don't mean anything doesn't mean that somebody else does. And it's hard to convince people of that. Outside of just saying, here's a list of numbers. Every time you see this list of numbers, just make a mark. Just make a little mark beside it. Count up how many you have by the end of a month, 2 months. I don't know, whatever. And you have to really, really be looking. You can't just veg out watching a TV show and not see it. You have to have your eyes really open. You have to see the background. You have to see the clocks. You have to see, the numbers that flash by you. You have to understand what these things mean. And you'll see it. You really will see it. You'll see the 33s. You'll see the 23s. You'll see the 923s. You'll see the 42s. And everybody likes to say, well, the reason that you see the 23s is just because of that Jim Carrey movie, and the reason you see the 42s is because the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, and the reason that you see the 33s is just because Disney. No, these things were there way before any of that. The 42 was coded into movies and television and books way before Hitchhiker's Guide came out. The 23 was coded in way before the Jim Carrey movie. They made the Jim Carrey movie because you kept seeing the 23s. You see the 923s everywhere. The 33s have been there since the beginning of time. The 911s have been there since the beginning of time. I mean, there's Roman architecture that has the IXXIs that are stamped on the front of the doors. That's a 911. Are you gonna open your eyes to it yet, or are you just gonna keep being blind? Speaking of which, I was watching a video the other day. They were talking about the things that happened in 1913. And I want to do a video on that. Because 1913 was, I agree with the guy that it was, I don't think it was the Coast to Coast. It was one of those other conspiracy shows that they have. And I don't know who the guy was. I didn't write his name down. I just jotted down what he was saying. But I found it on BitChute, and it was like 1913, the year that America ended, or whatever, something like that. And they were talking about all the events that had happened in that year, that you can just see the sequence of events that led up to the country not being a country anymore. It was like the country was just literally sold out within 1 year. And since then, it's just been slowly but surely degraded into the nonsense that we have now. I think I want to do a video about that, but I don't know, man. I don't know. Not only that, but I also had a really long Facebook post that I found yesterday that I wrote 3 years ago. And I wanted to talk about that too. So, I mean, what are we doing here? We're going to do... Let's do Isaiah 46. Let's do Isaiah 46. And I'll tell you what. I will remember... For next week, we will talk about other stuff. But let's do Isaiah 46 today. And, because it's kind of short. And actually, if it's short enough, then we might be able to cover some other stuff. I don't know. So let's, Isaiah 46, let's do this. Let's see what's going on in here. I kind of skimmed through it, and it's somewhat self-explanatory. Some of it is, some of it isn't. Just on the surface, I didn't get much, but well, that's why we read it. That's why we reread it. Sorry about that one. It's like I said, my nose. Let me see if I can close this a little bit. Alright. I had to reach over my computer monitors to be able to close a window. I think all that did was just focus. That's all that did was just focus it down to where it's just hitting underneath the monitors now. Should probably close it all the way. It feels nice though. It's warm in the house right now. It actually is. Alright. Let's do this. Isaiah 46. Bel boweth down, Nebo stoopeth. Their idols were upon the beasts and upon the cattle. Your carriages were heavy laden. They are a burden to the weary beast. They stoop. They bow down together. They could not deliver the burden, but themselves are gone into captivity. And we have a pilgrim, like, right out of the gate. So, the first thing I wanted to do is go to the very beginning. Bel is Baal. We've talked about that before. We've actually looked up Baal, or Bel, and he was he one of the three gods? It was Bel, Nisroch, and Dagon. Actually, there were four, weren't there? Who was the other one? Oh, what was his name? Bel, Nisroch, Dagon. There was a fourth one. I'm sorry about that one. Marduk. Asherah or Astaroth, which is Istar. But they're all in there. Pagan gods. There's actually more, too. I just looked that up, and they're giving me more now. That's great. So the bull god is associated with the owl. Of course he is. Why not? Why isn't he? What is that? Oh, that's nice. There's an image here, and I'm not going to show it, but there's an image here of a... It is the bull god Baal, and he is accepting a burnt child on a plate from a cat. I know that sounds crazy, and I'm not showing that. I just think that's ridiculous. That it's, yeah, come on, people. Anyways, Bel and Baal are the same. Bel boweth down. Nebo, name of a Babylonian deity, also of a mountain in Moab. Who is he associated with? Nebo. This is actually funny because there was a street that my aunt used to live on, Nebo Street, out in Muncie. Nebo or Nabu. Okay. He was a patron of art, and he was a patron of the art of writing and a god of vegetation. Huh. I should look at the. I wonder if I can find the fallen angels Enoch. Because you got to remember that Enoch talks about the fallen angels, and he talks about their names, specifically what they did. You know, such and such came down and gave this to people. Such and such came down and gave that to people. So this god of vegetation and the art of, or what is it? The art of writing. Medicinal magic, metalworking. I wish there was just a list. I could just look up the list. Come on now. Names of the 200 fallen angels in the Bible, names and meanings. 7 fallen angels, names and meanings. Maybe? What did the fallen angels teach us? Let's try that one. Who are the 7 fallen angels? Nope, this is not what I'm looking for. We need to find the Watchers. There we go. Oh, here we go. There's a list. Wikipedia, if you can believe that. Signs of the earth, knives, swords, cosmetics, weapons, astrology, signs in the clouds. Signs in the clouds? What? Oh, meteorology. There you go. Pinemu taught mankind the art of writing with ink and paper and taught the children of men the bitter and sweet and the secrets of wisdom. There was another one that taught gardening, though. Pinemu? Let's see what it says for this one. And pointed out to them every secret of their wisdom. He taught men to understand writing and the use of ink and paper. Therefore, numerous have been those who have gone astray from the very period of the word, even to this day. Well, there you go. For men were not born for this. Thus, with pen and with ink confirm their faith, since they were not created except that, like the angels, they might remain righteous and pure. Nor would death, which destroys everything, have affected them. But by this their knowledge they perish, and by this also its power consumes them. Of course they didn't have it, for men were not born to write things down, because not only did they probably not have writing before the flood, the reason that they probably didn't have writing before the flood is because they were in an oxygen-rich environment. They had the knowledge of a lot of things. Now you have to remember that you're talking about Adam and Eve were the perfect humans, and that there was a degradation of the species as it went down. After the flood, it only increased tenfold, and it was an oral tradition for a long time. There's a couple stories where it talks about one of the legends I remember hearing was somebody wrote something on the inside of the first lambskin that God gave to Adam and Eve to cover themselves. Somebody wrote something on the inside of that, and that made it onto Noah's Ark, and then that made it into the Ark of the Covenant, and it's been there ever since. And that was supposedly the first writing. But up until that point, they didn't need it because they were able to pass down stories and remember stories. Their brains were functioning on a way higher level than ours were. But at the same time, the angels came down and gave man the curse of writing, and by that writing, it destroyed them. So Pinemu, or Pinemi, the inside. Okay. He is a cure of stupidity in men. Okay. All right, whatever. As an angel associated with Abraxas actually, it was the name of a video game, if you can believe that. It's also likely the order of healing angels called the Labim. Right. So, this Nabu, patron of the art of writing and a god of vegetation. So he didn't teach people vegetation. He's just a god of vegetation. But he was the patron of the art of writing. Same person. Marduk, the father of Nabu, took precedence over him, and at least theoretically in Babylonia. But it's the same again. It's the same God, and I bet you any amount of money if we went to any other culture, we could probably find similarities between him and Greek gods, between him and Egyptian gods. You could probably find it over and over again. Mount Nebo, really? Did they name that mountain after this god? Nebo? Interesting. He's got a hat that looks like a penis. I'm not kidding. The hat looks like a penis. Okay. It does. It's like a big phallic. Wow. Sorry, I'm just looking at some other stuff. So right off the top, we know that it's Baal and this Nebu. They were both Babylonian gods. So Baal boweth down, Nebu stoopeth. Their idols were upon the beasts and upon the cattle. Your carriages were heavy laden. They are a burden to the weary beast. They stoop, they bow down together. They could not deliver the burden, but themselves are gone into captivity. All the other gods shall fall. Verse 3. Hearken unto me, O house of Jacob, and all the remnant of the house of Israel, which are born by me from the belly, which are carried from the womb. And even to your old age I am he, and even to hoar hairs will I carry you. I have made and I will bear, even I will carry and will deliver you. And that's pretty much stuff. Do I need to go back over those? Hearken unto me, O house of Jacob, and all the remnant of the house of Israel. Now again, I say the way that this talks, it sounds like there is a distinct impression of the Jacob before he became Israel. It seems like there's a distinct impression there. Because that's the name of the nation after return of exile, the house of Jacob. The house of Jacob. Dwelling, habitation on the inside from within. Is the son of Isaac, the house of Jacob, and all the remnants of the house of Israel. It seems like they're making a distinction there. I'm sure somebody somewhere could probably say, well, yeah, the distinction is this and this is that. On its surface, to me, it just sounds like there's something more to it. But hearken unto me, O house of Jacob, and all the remnant of the house of Israel, which are born by me from the belly, which are carried from the womb, which is how babies are born, kids. And even to your old age I am he, and even to hoar hairs, Hoar hairs, will I carry you. Even to hoar hairs. I have to know what that means. Hoar hair, aged, old age hairs, gray hairs, hoar. Hoar. I wonder if that's actually like what it means. Grayish whites, hoar. Okay, that's a word I did not know. Hoarfrost. Well, duh. There you go. You learn something new every day. And even to hoar hairs will I carry you. I have made and I will bear. Even I will carry and will deliver you. Hoar hairs. I don't know every word. I used to know a lot of words, but I didn't know that word. Interesting. We're gonna try to I'll try to clean my nose out again. I know it keeps running. I need to close this window. Thank you guys for your patience whenever I do that. I mean, seriously. You know, for me, if I were sitting here listening to myself, or if I was sitting here listening to this, it wouldn't bother me so much because, yeah, you're just listening to it on a laptop and you're trying to work and you're trying to do other stuff and it's no problem. But I don't know. If I wasn't doing it like this, I'd probably be like, ugh, he's blowing his nose again. Click. Find another video. Which is probably what a lot of people do. And whatever. If that's what they want to do, I don't care. It doesn't really matter. You know, you're either going to listen to it or you're not. Alright, verse 5. To whom will ye liken me, and make me equal, and compare me, that we may be like? They lavish gold out of the bag, and weigh silver in the balance, and hire a goldsmith, and he maketh it a god. They fall down, yea, they worship. They bear him upon the shoulder, they carry him. They bear him upon the shoulder, they carry him, and set him in his place, and he standeth. From his place shall he not remove. Yea, one shall cry unto him, yet can he not answer, nor save him out of his trouble. Remember this, and show yourselves men. Bring it again to mind, O ye transgressors. Remember the former things of old, for I am God, and there is none else. I am God, and there is none like me, declaring the end from the beginning, and from ancient times the things that are not yet done, saying, My counsel shall stand, and I will do all my pleasure. Calling a ravenous bird from the east, the man that executeth my counsel from a far country. Yea, I have spoken it, I will also bring it to pass. I have purposed it, I will also do it. Alright, back up to verse 5. To whom will you liken me, and make me equal, and compare me, that we may be like? What other God is there that is like God? I mean, we've seen it over and over again that we're talking about all these false gods. Why would you even try to? What God can you find that will compare to the Most High? Yeah, we've talked about all this stuff like Baal and Nebo and Nisroch and all these other gods that are similar to the fallen angels, that they can only teach one specific thing. You know, oh, this guy can teach writing. This guy can teach gardening. This guy can teach the... What was the one? Let me go back to it. The ornamentation, yes, the knives, the art of cosmetics. And I think in the actual book of Enoch, it talks about the coloring of women's eyes or something like that. And it's like, yeah, that was probably one of the worst things that ever happened to humans right there, is making girls beautiful. Many men have fallen for that, you know. But every single one of these, which is a god, which people worship by different names, are just small parts of a whole. They're nothing. They're not worth worshiping because they only know one thing. They can only do one thing, you know. The patron god of whatever, you know. It's just very similar to Catholicism. They have all the saints are the patron god of this, or the patron saint of this, the patron saint of that. You know, there is no one of them that is worthwhile as a whole. You have to put them all together and make up something. God is better than all of them combined plus. Who are you going to liken to God? Who are you going to say is his equal? There is none his equal. That's what it says. They lavish gold out of the bag and weigh silver in the balance and hire a goldsmith. And he maketh it a god. They fall down, yea, they worship. So when I skimmed over that this morning, the first thing I thought was, it is amazing how many closing my window. It is amazing how many statues and idols and all of these other images that people are making now out in the world. It is some of this statue, some of this quote unquote art is it's becoming extremely, do I want to say religious? It's taking on this this real appearance of evil. You can see it over and over again. I mean, we could talk about the golden bull that sits outside of Wall Street. We could talk about, we could talk about the statue of Moloch if you want, that was sitting in the damn Vatican for however long it was. The friggin' statues of Baphomet that keep rolling around the country. But I've seen others that I don't have any examples of right now, but they're making these statues. They're tearing down these statues of all these men that, supposedly did certain things for the world. They're tearing all these things down, and then they're building up these statues of this just truly monstrosities, these just evil, wicked things. But there's this spiritual aspect to them. When you really look at them, it's like you can just see, that's not just art. There's something else going on there. And I have thought about it before that maybe that's what it is they're installing their gods. And you don't have to do much to install a god and pray to it and worship it. You really don't. I have talked about this before. They go out into the woods, cut down a tree, bring it in. Now, it says that the workmen work on it, which means that they carve it up and they make it into an actual statue, but you don't have to do that anymore. You can just the act of taking the tree, setting it in your house, you're worshiping it. Worship, it's a, people hear the word worship and they think, oh, well, you've got to bow down to it and you've got to give yourself over to it. And that's part of it. That's the big aspect to it. But worship is also the following of it, the constant giving yourself over it. You worship the dollar every day, but you don't think about worshiping the dollar every day. You give your time, your energy, your resources, everything in order to be able to get paid so that you can pay somebody else off so that they won't come take your stuff. That's worship. It is a very small, very limited understanding of worship, but it's still the worship of a dollar. We've been worshiping the dollar for a long time now. It is amazing how much of this world and how much the number 666 flows around money. I've said that, and a lot of people have come back to me and they've said, well, that doesn't mean that all money is bad. And I'm not saying that. But it has gotten to the point now to where it has become a worship. It has become a worship of money. Part of the thing that I think there's a lot of people that are doing it right now, and I keep hearing, I've heard of several people already that they've done exactly what Christ said to the rich man in the New Testament, where he said, I've I've given myself over to you. I've read the books. I have understanding. I've done all this. What else do I need to do? Christ said, well, now you got to sell everything off. Sell everything off, give the money to somebody else, and then follow me. Give up everything. And I think that points to the worship of money. We all do it. Sadly, we all do it because we all have to keep surviving. We all have to keep going. A lot of us, like us, we're starting to find ways that we can move out of the system as best as we can. But it's still always there. You know, it's still constantly a thing. And some people in this world are going above and beyond to worship money. You know, they you hear I kind of talked about this a couple videos ago where it's the singers, the actors, all of them, they're not selling their soul to Satan to worship Satan. They're selling their soul to Satan to worship money because they want the money. Because somebody came up to them and said, well, now that you've made X amount of millions of dollars, where do you want to go now? Well, if you want to get, past this price point, then you're going to do what we're going to say. And they will do the rituals. They will do all the stuff. They will give themselves over to that evil, to Satan. But it's for the money. So there's an aspect to that. And I think there's even a bigger aspect to it once the money becomes digital, because the devil is in the machine at this point. It really is. The devil is absolutely in the machine. I think once that becomes a thing, that will definitely become a true kind of darkness, a true kind of evil. A lot of people, again, they don't see it that way. It's going to be a completely kind of worship, and I understand that. But every time you do something like that over and over and over again, it's a worship. It's a worship of the money. It's a giving of yourself over to it, whether you know it or not. You're giving yourself over to it. Just that's food for thought. When it comes to how much of your life you're going to sacrifice in order to be able to survive. How much other people sacrifice in order to survive. It's a very tricky, dangerous slope, and that is a hard teaching that not a lot of people will want to hear, but it's still there. It still should always be in the background of your mind. So just keep that in mind. But it goes along with this again. They lavish gold out of the bag and weigh silver in the balance and hire a goldsmith, and he maketh it a god. They fall down, yea, they worship. And again, that led to me talking about, all of the things, all of these statues and these monuments and all this crap that they're putting out there, that even though you don't have people falling on their knees worshiping these things out in the public, even though some of them do, I've seen that too. Oh, jeez. There's still a reverence to it. There's still something to it. There's still some kind of evil, something going on there that, we need to at least address, because this is a spiritual battle. This is not a physical battle. This is a spiritual battle. And you may put up a statue in the middle of some plaza somewhere and be like, oh, hey, whatever. It doesn't mean anything. But spiritually, there might be something else going on there. They bear him upon the shoulder. This is verse 7. They bear him upon the shoulder. They carry him and set him in his place. And he standeth. From his place shall he not remove. Yea, one shall cry unto him, yet can he not answer. nor save him out of his trouble. Because they're just statues. They're just wooden idols. They're nothing. They're garbage. It's the story of, I can't remember where I saw it. It might have been Jasher. I don't remember, where the one guy comes in and he sees his father's room full of idols. So he takes the axe out of one of the hands of his idols and destroys all of the other gods there, and then he puts the axe back in the hands of the idol. And the father comes back and he says, "What happened here?" He said, "Your God. He killed all the other gods." And he said, "He can't move. He's just wood." It's like, well, duh. Why are you worshiping it? So it's that same concept, that they had to actually carry their God to a place in order to stand them up and worship it. Our Father which is in heaven, he doesn't need to. He is everywhere. You don't need to make a carving of him and move him from place to place. He doesn't need that. He doesn't want that. He is everywhere, everywhere. He can do whatever he wants to. Verse 8, "Remember this, and show yourselves men. Bring it again to mind, O ye transgressors. Remember the former things of old, for I am God, and there is none else. I am God, and there is none like me, declaring the end from the beginning, and from ancient times the things that are not yet done, saying, My counsel shall stand, and I will do all my pleasure. Declaring the end from the beginning, because he knows everything. He knows what's going to happen. He knows where this all goes. He declared it from the beginning. There's a lot of people that like to talk about that. It was some of the very first words of the Bible absolutely line up with what happens at the end. He told it to you. A lot of people like to point to the when he was talking to the snake. He said that, the seed of man will bruise your head and you will bruise his heel. Referring to Christ, as eventually Christ will come and will take down Satan. There's better people that have explained it better than that. I'm having problems right now because, again, my nose is all stopped up and it's starting to get into my sinuses now, which is just lovely. Calling a ravenous bird from the east, the man that executeth my counsel from a far country. Yea, I have spoken it. I will also bring it to pass. I have purposed it. I will also do it. Calling a ravenous bird from the east, the man that executeth my counsel from a far country. All right. So verse 12. Hearken unto me, ye stouthearted, that are far from righteousness. I bring near my righteousness. It shall not be far off, and my salvation shall not tarry. And I will place salvation in Zion for Israel, my glory. So hearken unto me, ye stouthearted, that are far from righteousness, those that will refuse to listen to it no matter what. I haven't done this in a while. But it goes back, or it connects to Psalm 76. Of course, since we read the Psalms, if I miss something, I'd like to see it. The stout-hearted are spoiled. They have slept their sleep, and none of the men of might have found their hands. Oh. That's 76:5. The stout-hearted that are far from righteousness. I bring near my righteousness, it shall not be far off, and my salvation shall not tarry. And I will place salvation in Zion for Israel, my glory. And I think it said, didn't it say that Jacob was his chosen and Israel was his glory? Isn't that what it said? Or Jacob was a servant and Israel was his elect. But there was something else too. It said something about Israel was his glory. I can't remember where it was. Jacob my servant and Israel whom I have chosen. Well, there's another one. This is like the first, it's like 44 and 45. That's just scanning back. But again, it talks like they're two different peoples. So I don't know. Maybe that's something worth looking into. I don't know. So there you go. We got a little bit of time here. But that was Isaiah 46. Let's see if I can do this Facebook thing. Let's see if we can get this. Let's see if we can get this. See if we can get this video taken down off of YouTube. No, I forgot about this. This is an old saying from like 6 years ago. I don't remember. I don't think it was something I made up. I think it was like from Grand Theft Auto 5. The journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step, and sometimes that step can take a while to be made. But many hands make light work. So at the end of the day, we are given 110%, and everyone is a winner. Follow your dreams. I don't remember where that came from. Is this it right here? A big long one too. All right. This is from 3 years ago, September 22nd of 2019. I'm going to blow my nose one more time, then I'm going to read this thing. Hold on. Hopefully that's the last time I have to do that, man. My nose. All right, and it's going to be like that all day because, again, the weather changed. I should probably put some sweats on there or something so I don't get sick. They call it a cold. You know why they call it a cold? Because you get cold. It's not because you inherit it from somebody. It's because you get cold. Because your body goes through a change too quickly. It's an environment. All right, anyways, 3 years ago, September 22nd, 2019. This is something I posted on Facebook. This is something... It's kind of long, and I'm going to see if I can't... if there's something that I need to cut out of it, I will. But we're going to see. I really don't know how else to explain things about this world anymore. We've been inundated with climate warming, cooling, whatever, since the 70s. I doubt it's going anywhere. I heard someone say, if it were a real thing, why would so many real estate agencies be putting stock into Florida, London, and other parts of the world that would be wiped out by 10 feet of water? And that is true. Why are there still housing developments being put on the coasts of all of these countries? They are building right on the edges of the oceans. If the water is going to rise up 20, 30 feet, why is insurance companies wasting their time insuring houses like that? Think about that for a second. That type of investment makes no sense if that risk were a thing. Just a thought. And it seems strange to think that a world that has the ability to chemically change weather patterns and has had that ability for years now would never use it for good. Just seems crazy to me. All I see is crazy weather. Maybe I'm wrong, maybe not. Again, they've had weather manipulating ability since the 1940s. The patents have been there. They have shown over and over again that they have used these. They used these in the Vietnam War. China used these for their Beijing Olympics. Supposedly, and I can't confirm this, I have looked and looked and looked, there are records on just about every state in America that says that you have the ability as a governor, as a whatever, to use the National Weather System in order to change your weather for a special event. I can't confirm that. But other people have confirmed that, yes, they've used this. They used this in Vietnam in order to flood out the Vietnamese. They used this in Beijing, that whoever it was in China at the time was saying that, yes, we use this in order to have perfect weather, because the Beijing Olympics, it was perfect weather the whole time. They have these abilities. To think that they wouldn't use them whenever, some massive hurricane is coming to wipe out an entire island, say Puerto Rico, to think that they wouldn't divert a hurricane, to think that there was a hurricane that was going to be hitting the Isle of Manhattan the very day that 2 planes hit the World Trade Center. That was a thing. There was a hurricane that was headed straight for Manhattan, and it turned right at the last second. It's like it was, if the hurricane hadn't turned, then there would be no planes, because they wouldn't have been able to see anything. But instead, the hurricane turned and they had beautiful weather. Beautiful, clear skies for miles. I'm not saying that they use weather manipulation there. I'm just saying that it was interesting. I know hurricanes can turn on a dime. It's happened for years and years and years. Or has it? Going back to this, another thought is, if someone says they do the right thing and go to take their child to get an immunization or a shot, I use the V word, and that child becomes damaged in some way, shape, or form, why do we still say the science is settled? This was 3 years ago, 2019. Just curious is all, because you got to remember, in 2019, the vaccine debate was really kicking up. If even one person develops a problem because of anything shot into them or even taken by them, maybe we should stop giving that out to people until we can fix it. To hear someone say that it's better to give out the shots, to hear someone say that it's better to give the shots out than to run the risk of an outbreak, no matter the cost, just sounds a bit demented to me. I think different. It is what it is. This was 2019. This was a year before, because it was really starting to flare up that people were talking about it. And the last time I heard, a nation willing to give up their weapons is willing to give up their freedoms as well. I was hitting on every cylinder on this. This was like a, hey, let's just talk about the next 3 years of 3 years ago, 2019. Blows my mind sometimes. And the last, which it also shows that in 2019, all of these things were popping up in the, what do you want to call it, in the realm of thoughts in 2019. Like they were getting us ready. I mean, they were really getting us ready for this, for the next 2 years, next 3 years. The last time I heard, a nation willing to give up its weapons is willing to give up their freedoms as well. I just take a step back and look at the past and see Native Americans giving up their guns. I see the Jews in Germany giving up their guns. I see the old Soviet Union giving up their guns. The one that I missed was the people in Cuba that gave up their guns. I'm sure I could be wrong here, but tyranny seemed to thrive on handing over weapons. Maybe instead of taking the weapons away or making it illegal, which I have always had the feeling that making anything illegal does nothing but to put all power into those that break the law. Well, we've seen a lot of that over the past couple of years. But instead of that, maybe we can focus on what would make someone want to kill another person. Maybe changing the root of a person could change this pattern of murder. I don't know. Seems I became far less suicidal or rage a lot less when I finally found my own self-worth. And this goes back to every time I talk about if we're really going to change anything, we need to change it at source. You can't go out and protest on individuals' lawns and hope to change the world. It's not going to work. All you're going to do is piss off the guy whose lawn you're on. That's not protesting. That's agitating. That's all that is. You're an agitator. If you want to really truly change anything, you go to the source. You talk to the teachers. You talk to the school councils. You get out there. You tell them, we need to change the way that we teach kids. We need to be better than this. You turn the TVs off. You become a part of your kid's life. You homeschool the hell out of them if you have to. I don't know, but it has to start on the base level. It can't start, out in the boondocks with, some random asshole that lives in the middle of nowhere and keeps screaming at him that he has to be better to other people. It's not going to work there. You have to find the root cause of these things. You have to find out that music and TV and movies and all these things put this have for the past 40, 50 years, put it into our heads that it's okay to kill and murder and destroy and hurt and hate people and all these things. And you need to take that away and start giving a better, more promising message. The only message that they've changed that they're giving kids now is that they can have sex whenever they're 5 years old. And that's sick and demented. That's not a good message. You need to get out there and find out what's going on with the kids. And you need to be better. That's how we change this. We need to start telling people they need to stop going out sleeping around with everybody they possibly can, making babies that don't have fathers, that, they have mothers that decide that they're going to have the maximum amount of 5 kids in order to be able to get the maximum amount of welfare. We need to make sure that these people are educated. They have some kind of education. I don't like the school system, but we need to do better than what it is. We need to take away the garbage music that causes people to be terrible. And we need to start instilling better values in people. It starts on that base level. That means you're going to have to get rid of a lot of junk. But it's what you've got to do. You got to come out of Babylon. I don't see this happening anytime soon, but if you're really wanting to change the world, if you're really truly wanting to change the world, if you're wanting to change the way that people think, you need to start there. You really do. You need to start there, and you need to start fixing it there. But not a lot of people are doing that. Okay, next paragraph on this one. Speaking of self-worth, we could always be taught better than we are. I've lived 42 years now, and maybe I just was paying more attention than others, but I've just seen the people of this world become so nihilistic and self-loathing and hate-filled and rude and just plain dirty more and more as I've gone forward. Yeah, I know it's always been there, but has it? Was there ever a better way than this? Could we teach ourselves to be better? This is exactly what I just said. Could we start with teaching our children that life does indeed have meaning and purpose? That maybe we are more than just monkeys floating on a space ball. I won't even go into what I believe here, but can we do better than that? Maybe save that worthless talk for after we grow up a little bit. It is possible to teach our kids to be responsible and loving and caring before we tell them they are worthless and life is meaningless. Or maybe we don't tell them that last bit at all. There you go. I don't know. It's confusing to me how to change it. I mean, I know how, but trying to ride that middle line is hard, man. It's exactly what I just said. Why don't we teach them that they are worth more than just space dust? When we quit lying to them. When we quit lying to them, why don't we quit telling them that it's okay to lie? Every time you tell your kids there's a Santa Claus, every time you tell your kids there's an Easter Bunny, every time you tell your kids there's a tooth fairy, you are telling your kids it's okay to lie. It's what you're doing to your children. It's okay to lie. Little white lies are just fine. And they're going to grow up and they're going to think that they can lie just a little bit just to be able to get by and get through. And they're going to lie to you. If you don't want your kids lying to you, don't lie to them. How hard of a concept is that? People are ridiculously stupid when it comes to that kind of stuff. I don't like my kid keeping secrets from me and lying for me. Well, then, motherfucker, go out there and quit lying to your kids. They're going to do what you do. Your kids are going to follow you every step of the way. So if you lie to them, hell yeah, they're going to lie to you. What makes you think that they're going to be better by you not telling them the truth? Grow up. Seriously, man. It's the next paragraph on this. I don't know where this goes. I do, though, really. But no one would hear it if I told the truth from the start. I know that's one of my biggest problems. I start with the truth and no one wants to hear it. We like to understand that things are the way they are and have always been that way and will stay that way, the end. But it's not. Things are not the way they were. People don't seem to realize that anymore. We aren't who we were 30 years ago. The world is upside down from where we were 20 years ago, and it keeps getting crazier. Am I the only one that has seen it? I know I'm not the only one that has seen it, but as far as the people that I was trying to address on my Facebook, I don't think any of them saw it. I think back when I wrote this, I still had friends. The majority of my friends I dumped around December of 2019. So I kept saying I think this was like my Facebook eulogy, pretty much, as I was trying to tell the truth as much as possible and I just gave up. And I was slowly moving off of Facebook. I was deleting friends. I was pulling pictures. I was getting ready for the purge. I was getting ready to get off of Facebook completely. And then COVID hit, and it's like the only people I had left on my Facebook were friends and family. And I said, shoot, now I have to try to wake them up. So that's why I stayed. But I go back and look at these things, and I'm like, man, I was on something. Next paragraph. I'm going to throw this out there, and it doesn't have to stick. I say I see the lies of the world now because I do believe I have seen the truth of the world. The truth is that nothing is as it seems. That's such a broad statement. But that's the simplest way to say it. I could exhaust the internet by telling everyone every little thing that is wrong with the world. I can't do that, and I don't know if people would believe me. I don't even know if a one-on-one with all of my friends and family would be enough to explain it. It's frustrating at best and lonely and terrifying at worst, which is the truth. It is frustrating and it is lonely when you have to walk this walk. That's why you have to put your faith and your hopes and your faith and everything in God, because it's the only person you have out here. It really is. We are truly slaves to this world. We have been lied to since we were born, and there truly are a select few that run this place and want us either as slaves or dead, and they will manipulate and distract and kill us to get what they want. That describes the past 3 years to a T. I'm going to read that whole thing again. We are truly slaves to this world. We have been lied to since we were born, And there truly are a select few that run this place and want us either as slaves or dead, and they will manipulate and distract and kill us to get what they want. They hold all the cards. They hold all the cards now because we have been asleep for too long. It sounds like the ramblings of a madman on They Live, but it's the best I have. The world is not what we think it is. I don't know what else to say other than I found the truth. Through the truth, I found evil. And when I knew there was evil, I knew there had to be good. And so I found Jesus Christ. And all I have asked him, okay, let's try this again. And all I have asked him for since then was the truth. And he has given it to me every day. It's a burden I keep trying to release, but no one is listening. He wants me to tell you all the truth. That's where this road has taken me, like a calling or something. It's the truth of this life and the only way to break free. He literally says, I am the way, the truth, and the life. I get that now. I'm ending this. Good nights. God bless. That was my Facebook eulogy. That was probably the last thing that I was writing before I knew that I had to get off of Facebook. I was really just, I had to say it. I had to get it out there. We were born into a system of evil men. They don't want us here. We are their useless eaters. We make them money. We give them power. And they laugh at us. They don't care about us. It has been so sickening to hear all of these people talk about Queen Elizabeth when you know that she comes from a family, they don't give a shit about you. They're eugenicists. They think they are better than you simply because they were born of a certain bloodline. Not only that, but her son, her son's friends, the people she has talked to, the people she has been with, the people she has knighted and given medals to, and all the blah, 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 and all the stuff. All of them have told you time and time and time again, there are too many people in this world. We need to reduce the population to X amount. We need to lower the population growth. We need to do all of these things. There are too many people. Not only that, but just about every one of their families have been involved in some kind of not a conspiracy. They have been found doing extremely dirty things to little kids. I don't even know if you can say the word pedophile anymore, because you know YouTube may take the video down just for one word. But they are associated with bad people. They are not even just associated with bad people. They are associated with people that want you dead. They are eugenicists. It's been that way for years. There was a eugenics movement that started in the late 1800s that started primarily focusing on black people. And it has spread to everybody now because they don't need any of us. There are too many of us. They have said over and over again they only want 500 million. That's it. Because they think that there are too many people using up too many resources. Yet somehow magically these people live in 20 to 30 room mansions on a plot of land that's 400, 500 acres. And yet I'm sitting here in my 7-room house on my 0.75 acres, and they're telling me I've got to give up more stuff. Piss off. What is that? But that's what they say. It is only the ruling elite, Those people that are on the top, that have money, they think the money makes them better than you because their money is allowed to afford them better degrees and better, understandings of the world. That's the only reason. But those are the people. Those are the ones that they've constantly said over and over again. There's too many people using too many resources. We have to lower the population growth. We have to lower the population. I would like to see the population growth go down to where it was 500 years ago. Over and over and over and over and over again. And people worship these people. The rubes of the world, the normies, they worship these people. You saw that. As soon as the queen died, millions of people just to go see her and say, "Oh, we loved you. You did such a good job ruling over us. Boy, you didn't try to kill us or murder us once. We didn't have to take you out in a guillotine in the streets." These people want you dead. These people want you dead simply because you exist. Everything I said right there was in September of 2019. That was what? 6 months before the lockdowns, before we really saw how much they didn't give a shit about us, because they don't give a shit about us. They really don't. If they gave two shits about us, they would have done this completely differently. But the lockdowns have destroyed small businesses. They have enacted more and more surveillance systems in order to keep us in check. They lied to us, threw us in prisons, threw us in concentration camps, told us that we have to follow their rules or else we don't get to work. We don't get to provide for our families. We don't get to do anything. They forced us into having to do these things. And people still go right along with it. Because they think that they're supposed to have a government. Oh, daddy, government, worship or govern me harder. It's unbelievable. It's absolutely unbelievable. But that's the lie they told you in order to get you to follow them. And that's where you are now. And it's only going to get worse. The things they're talking about now, the things that you're talking about now only gets worse. It really, they don't even care if you see it anymore. They are pushing every which way possible, destroying the food processing plants, destroying the oil refineries, destroying everything possible in order to get you to fall for their idea that you will own nothing and you will be happy. By 2030, and people say, well, look, they moved it back to 2050 now because the resistance is working. Okay, well, that's fine. If you think that resistance is working, then great. Why don't I see people out on the streets trying to take over the world? I don't see that. I see people that are still just going along and get along. I see more people that are still worried about their Sunday night football than I do trying to fight for their own freedom. Anyways, that's that. So now that I've left it on a downer, I want to do this 1930 thing eventually, though. It was interesting, and again, it was on BitChute. I should have saved it somehow, BitChute has made it harder to be able to save videos. But it was a guy that he was just talking about everything that happened in 1913. And it was like month by month. This happened, then this happened, then this happened, then this happened, then this happened. All leading up to the Federal Reserve being created. And that was pretty much whenever the country got sold out. There were things that happened before and after that you could, you could follow the pattern. But you could definitely see it just within 1 year. And within, 20, 30 years? Within 30 years of that, everything was taken over, After World War II, that was it. It was done. After World War II, the world was lost and started changing for the worse. Absolutely. Within the past 70-something years, it has all just fallen apart. But anyways, that's for later. I might do that. I'll need to do just a little bit more research on it. See if I can find anything else. But I might do that Monday. I might do that Tuesday, Wednesday. Wednesday is usually our days that I know this week was a little different. This week got out of whack, but no, yeah, well, we might do that next Wednesday. I don't know. All right, so I'm gonna go get this day going. It is a Friday, which I'm amazed. It's Friday. We actually just zinged right through this week. But you guys take it easy. God bless everyone. And take care of yourselves. Keep your eyes open today. I'm not going to say that anything will happen, but signs have been pointing constantly to a 923. And we know that their numerology sometimes leads to dates. And you have all of these banks closing. You have these political people talking about how 924 will be a day to be remembered. I still don't know what the context of that was either. I just saw it. All they ever do is just take that snippet of 30 seconds where the guy says, well, no, 924 will be, but it never, I don't know what the context was. So, and I didn't need to know the context. I just know the guy said 924, and all I could think of is, well, it lines up. It lines up. I don't need to worry about what the context is. Somebody saw something, hey, great, whatever. But you should still worry about 923 anyways, because the damn number's everywhere. So keep your ears out. Keep your ears. Keep your eyes open. Keep your eyes and your ears open. Ask the Father for discernment. Ask Him to show you what's going on. And try to be prepared. All right? So I will talk to y'all later. Take care.